This channel, at least at this point in time, is all about human frequencies. My academic background is in brain frequencies, more specifically as in brain waves, but for my postdoc I'm also adding human frequencies, and that includes our cellular frequencies as well as all the organs. So whatever we talk about, we always go back to these two basically human frequencies. And one of you had a great question last time asking whether we could harness this, and that the answer is yes. Because we are at a point in time in humanity that we can capture, observe, and analyze these frequencies. But what I'm working on right now is to add these to the future of computers. In other words, adding consciousness, human consciousness, to the future of computers, if you want to call them the future of AI, as in AGI, ASI, robotics, etc. Let me explain. When it comes to the brain waves, we do have a lot of great commercialized neural headsets, so we can collect, analyze, and observe brain waves. The same goes with human cellular waves. We're able to detect them, measure them, and analyze them. Some parts of the body emanate in more frequency than the others. For example, the heart, because it is mainly made up of muscles, it has increased level of mitochondria. Mitochondria is the little machine, energy making machine cell, part of the cell. And as a result, because it works extra and it has a lot of muscles, so it has increased level of frequencies. But brain does the same as well, so do other organs in the body. And so going back to the question that one of you guys had last time, is that yes, we can harness these. And in fact, this is part of my postdoc that I'm doing, because I am working on and introducing ways in which we can add consciousness to the future generation of computer, AI, AGI, ASI, whatever you want to call it. And we are able to do that because we can actually harness these frequencies. Now, when it comes to also the word consciousness, I think that word is a little bit loaded, because wherever you go, people have different definitions of it. So let's just define it at a very simple level, just for the sake of this conversation. Different disciplines appear to define consciousness in various different ways. For the sake of this conversation, and just to keep it simple, let's just define it as the awareness that a human being has in terms of whatever he or she feels and sees, which is what we gain through our sensory system, but also whatever he or she is actually emanating, because we also emanate frequency. And if you go a little bit deeper and dissect that a little bit more, shortly you'll come to the conclusion that at the deeper level, we're always talking about frequencies. And so it would be safe to say in a simple way that consciousness is all the frequencies that a human being emanates, but also a human being receives. So defining it as that, we are able to add consciousness to the future generation of computers, because we do have access to those frequencies at this moment. At this moment, I've chosen to keep my work independent of any institution or corporation, mainly because I do not want to, at least at this point, be influenced by any other work. I am pretty sure, 100% sure, that other institutions and corporations are already doing similar work, but I am not aware of them, because again, I just wanted to keep this. But essentially what I'm working on, I want to explain to you a little bit more into details what it is, because sometimes on purpose I keep it a little bit vague, because it's much more deeper than just me explaining it as is. So hopefully I'll be able to document everything soon and share it with you guys. But at this moment, let me explain what I mean. Essentially what I'm proposing is that if we define consciousness at a subatomic level, the frequencies that we just talked about, and if we are able to harness those frequencies through the devices that we already have, and if we define those frequencies of carrier of information and data within us and among us, then it would be safe to say that by harnessing those frequencies through the devices that we have, we can add consciousness to the next and build the next generation computers. You can call it AGI, ASI, robotic, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we already have the human body as the node that can receive frequencies, information / data, but also emanate, create frequencies, which is knowledge, information, data, whatever you want to call it. So we can use the human body as the node connected to the. And so what I'm proposing is that by connecting the human frequencies to the computers, harnessing these frequencies, which include knowledge / data / information to the computers, we'll be able to use the human body as the node that adds the consciousness to the future of computers. And if we do that, two things will happen. One is that the computers, in this case, let's say AI, will be able to analyze those frequencies at the mass data and understand what those frequencies mean. That's one thing that would happen. The second thing is that those computers would be an extension of human bodies, and what they can do would be endless. And needless to say that I am one of those scientists who's an activist and who's absolutely for humanity. I am not proposing this to be something vicious, but something brilliant, beautiful. I was in the lab, and when I was doing my grad study, one of the things that I did was that I was observing and analyzing, collecting brain waves for a huge number of participants, and I was observing the thoughts, frequency of thoughts, I should say, but also the emotions attached to them. And one thing I noticed over and over again is that at the frequency level, if you just look at the frequency, if you just look at the EEG data, there was no difference between a thought and an emotion. I know some people react towards it, but this is what I found in my lab, at least. And so that made me think that those two are not separate from one another. And because of that, we are able to then look at what potentially those feelings and emotion would also mean at the frequency level, which in turn means that harnessing those, knowing that knowledge behind the scene, we are able to add that information to the AI so that it is able to analyze and understand that data more. Having said that, because I am working independently, I don't have a lot of resources, I am fully aware of the fact that what I'm trying to work on and what I'm suggesting could be extremely trivial. But to be very honest with you, I couldn't care less. Other companies or institutions could be much more forward. I really don't care, because I love this work so freaking much that I'm going to do it anyways. And in fact, that's why I even did grad studies. But there's a wealth of knowledge there that we really don't talk about. That wealth of knowledge from human frequencies, be it the brain or the cells or the organs, doesn't matter, can be harnessed and then be added to these computers so that we are able to then have much smarter computers in the future with consciousness. And again, for humanity purposes only, because the things that we'll be able to do then for humanity would be endless. And imagine if we just harness those positive and good and humanity related frequencies to these future technologies. I say future technologies with a grain of salt because it's very possible that these technologies are already advanced with the big corporation and big institutions. I'm just not aware of them. Again, I don't know. Whenever I feel inspired, I'll do more of these videos. My videos are not consistent mainly because I'm not a marketer, and I do hear and watch marketers and they all say be consistent and do that, but I really suck at it. I'm sorry. I'm more into science than anything else, and so I'll do it. The only time I do these videos is when I really feel inspired, because that's when I feel I can like bring my love about this science to you. Otherwise, it might be a little bit mechanical, and I like the work that I do includes love in it, love for science, a love for this work, and it just cannot be mechanical. Believe me, I have tried. I have really tried to follow what these marketers say, but I just really suck at it. So I hope you guys bear with me. Let me know if you have any question, comments. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.